Welcome to today's class, and guess who you're meeting today? You're meeting nouns. So I'm introducing to you nouns for our English class today. And we're going to be covering a lot on nouns. You might be wondering, nouns, I was taught nouns in primary school, I was taught nouns and you know a lot about nouns, but you may never be able to cover it all. That is why we're going to cover some important parts of nouns. So today we're going to learn definition of nouns, the singular and the plural nouns, the regular plural nouns, irregular plural nouns, identification of nouns, types of nouns, and we're focusing on proper and common nouns, contrasting them, concrete and abstract nouns, compound and collective nouns, and of course possessive nouns. So, what is a noun? So many people give definitions of nouns, and sometimes those definitions actually limit what a noun is. I tell people, I said, if it's a name, then it's a noun. If it's a name, then it's a noun. Any name you can find above the earth, under the earth, on earth, anywhere is a noun. So in simple definition, a noun is a naming word. Once it's a name, it's a noun. Once you can see that there's a name attached to something, some person, some place, and you see it is a name, just call it a noun. So you can say a noun is synonymous to a name. Like I said before, a noun is a naming word. What does it name? A noun can name a million things, but it's mostly name 4 things. So a noun names a person, animal, place, thing, or ideas. That's five things. A person, animal, place, thing, or ideas. So when you're asked to define a noun, you can simply call it a naming word because that is the main function of a noun. Its names. Then we move on to the singular and the plural nouns. Singular and plural nouns. When we talk about singular and plural nouns, we are simply talking about quantifying nouns. How do we place noun in numbers? From the word singular, you can get single. Single means one. So when you say singular, you're speaking of a noun that quantifies just one. And when you say plural, plural can be, we can get the word plus, which is from Latin, which means more. So plus from Latin, which means more, gives us plural, which means more of something. So when you have singular, you're speaking of one, plural, you're speaking of many. So we're going to be looking at words, nouns that are singular and nouns that are plural. And then for the plural nouns, we speak of the regular plural nouns and the irregular plural nouns. So we are saying that some plural nouns can actually be regular, while some can be irregular. Irregular as in not regular. When you say something is regular, you're saying that thing is the way it should be, it's normal. When you say it is irregular, it is not following the norm. It's not like it should be. So we are looking at plural nouns that they are just common, they are the way it should be. While there are some others that seem uncommon, they are not too common, we don't get to see them all the time. So for the regular plurals, you simply add s or es to the noun. I'll give examples of some nouns, and for you to turn them to plural, you simply add s or es. Okay, like I said before, we have the regular plural nouns and the irregular plural nouns. And I said regular means they are like the way they should be. And irregular means they are not like the way they should be. So these are examples of the regular plural nouns. Girl, girls. We simply added s to the girl. Pen, pens. Shoe, shoes. Box, boxes. We added es to the x. Bench, benches. So these are the regular plural nouns. Simple to identify, so common. People often do not make mistakes using this. Then we move on to the irregular plural nouns. They don't follow the norm. They are different from just following the regular noun. So we call them irregular plurals. Like thief. Usually if we have to follow the regular nouns, we add S to it. That would be wrong. So what we do is to change the F to V, and then we add ES. So we have thief, thieves. Fish is another example of an irregular plural noun. Now there has been controversy over this. Some say, should the plural of fish be fish or fishes? Now, when you're speaking of the same kind of fish, you say fish, fish, no matter the number. But when you're speaking of different kinds of fishes, like you have different types, then you can say fishes. So when you say fish, you say fish. Just like sheep, sheep. It is irregular because it doesn't follow this format. You're not adding S, ES to it. Then we have tooth, another form. These ones, some of the letters in the word change. So you have tooth, you have teeth. Tooth, teeth. Then geese. Sorry, this is goose. Goose, and then we have geese. We have fly, and then we change the Y to I, and then we add ES. So we have flies. Now there are certain exceptions to this rule, the one with the F. Here we change the F to V, and then we have thieves. But in this case, we're not going to change the F to V, because the exception to this rule. Sometimes in English language, we have an exception to certain rules. Some rules do not just apply all the way. We have some exceptions. So this is one of the cases. Exceptions to this rule of adding just S. So changing this to VES. We rather add S to it instead of changing to VES. So when you have chef, which is from French, a chef, someone who cooks, you simply add S to it and you have chefs. And also chief, you add S and you get chiefs. So we've talked about our regular plural nouns and irregular plural nouns. There are so many of them, so many of them. Just what you do is, as you're learning the noun, learn the plurals, with whether they're regular or irregular. These are the examples of irregular nouns. I'm going to write more of the irregular plurals so that you can understand them better. So we have more of the regular plurals. We have life, lives, sheep, sheep, leaf, leaves, owl, house, mystery, mysteries, flash, flashes, fungus, fungi, medium, media. As you can see, they don't follow the regular form of adding S or ES. Some simply change the last consonant and add ES. Some you don't add anything at all. Some you change some of the letters in them. So those are the regular plurals. Then we move on to identification of nouns. How do we identify nouns? Sometimes students are told to pick out nouns from particular sentences and then they begin to search for these nouns. You can try picking out nouns using these two guides. First, remember I said a noun is a name. Once it is a naming word, it is a noun. So ask yourself, this particular word, is it a name? If it's not a name, then forget it, it's not a noun. Secondly, ask yourself if it can be used with any of these articles, a, an, or. Usually we can use nouns with any of these articles. You can say the fungus, you can say the thieves, you can say a fish. If it's a verb, like take, you can't say the take or a take, except if the take is noun, because it's the form of take that is a noun. So ask yourself, can this noun be used with any of these articles, a, an, and the? If your answer is no, then it's not a noun. So these are the best two ways you can identify nouns. Ask yourself, is it a name? If it's a name, then it must be a noun. Or can it be used with this article a, an, or the? If it can, then it is a noun. So in today's class, we've talked about the definition of a noun, which tells us what a noun is all about. We said once it is a name, it's a noun. So a noun is a naming word. We also talked about the other things a noun covers. It covers names of persons, animals, places, things, or ideas. Once it's name of a person, animal, place, thing, or ideas, we say it is a noun. Then we moved on to singular and plural nouns. We said plural nouns can either be regular or irregular. We talked about the regular plural nouns, which you add s or as to. And then we moved on to the irregular plural nouns, which take different forms. They are not like the regular nouns. And then they have different forms. And we pinpointed the irregular plural noun that ends with VES. The singular ends with an F, and then the plural we change to VES for the regular plural nouns. We say there are two exceptions or other exceptions, like chef, which we said is borrowed from French. Perhaps that's the reason why we don't change the F to VES. Chef, we have chefs. Then we have chief, and then we have chiefs. We don't change the F to VES, but rather add S to them. We don't follow the rule of the irregular plural nouns. And then we talked more about the regular plural nouns, and then how to identify our nouns. And we said two ways you can identify your nouns. First, is it a naming word? If it is, then it is a noun. And secondly, can it go with the article a, an, or the? If it can, then it must be a noun. I believe you enjoyed the class today. Remember, learning is a process. Hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.